stuff. So we're just going to get going into the bottom left corner of the map with our Blue Protoss player from Dragon Kaizi Gaming. This is herO. Top right, our red Terran player from Team NV, Abydos. I'm still not sure what Abydos / Team NV is. Like, everyone who joined NV kind of went on to Abydos for WTL. I still don't understand it. It's herO in the upper right-hand side of the map as we get going with our next game. Alright, so game 1 of our grand finale here today. Best of 5. Obviously, Kung Fu Cup, first place prize is going to be $580. Second place, $290, so double your money basically in this best of 5. Of course, WTL points on the line as well. WTL points adding into those WTL standings, so you can do your absolute best to qualify into that end-of-year Masters Coliseum event. $45,000 on the line in that one is going to be a lot of fun, so really excited for that. As if you guys give me a moment, I will do your predictions. herO beat Beyond. Stop prediction. There you go, guys. Have a good time. So yeah, grand finals today, best of 5. See how it's gonna go down. I don't know what I think this is the WTL observer's point of view. And right now, what's happening on the clean feed is they are looking at the beautiful logos of all the sponsors in the WTL. For us, it just looks like we're looking at a bit of grass. It's wonderful, isn't it, guys? Yes, I think that's what just happened there, just so you guys are aware. Yeah, obviously we could, like I say, I mean, I would cast this off the clean feed if the clean feed was a bit better quality. The clean feed's just been a little bit laggy and stuff, and just not really ideal. So, I mean, I don't mind casting off the clean feed because, you know, I like people observing for me, but yeah, that's just a thing, I suppose. Timon Barracks building up. Look at that. herO just going to hide those right at the top of his base. So very fast 3 racks for him on this pretty large map. Intrigued as to what he'll turn this into and what we can do with this overall, as we'll drop a tech lab on one of them immediately. Obviously, we're going to get stim and combat shields quickly. The fact he's trying to hide it obviously signifies that he really wants to try and show up and catch his opponent perhaps a bit off guard or so. So yeah, like I say, we'll see how that goes. As our tech lab's about to finish, racks is about to be done. Robo facility coming up on the side of herO as well. And our Phoenix about to finish in the next couple of moments. Gate is ticking along. A couple of simulators coming up, pylon coming down. We do have our Phoenix making its way to the upper right-hand corner, so away we go. Marines already tagging that Phoenix up a little bit, getting some good damage dealt. And I mean, obviously the Phoenix showing itself early, gets the full scout. It's actually really important. Because a lot of the time with Phoenix, you're going to hold them back and hope you catch a Widowmine drop or so. By scouting with this Phoenix, he reveals the 3 racks, and immediately now he can make judgment calls and process some actions that he wouldn't have otherwise done based on the fact it's a 3 racks. You know, basically Phoenix no scout is a lot of the times an auto loss against this 3 racks opening. But in this case, he's actually going to have the info to respond properly. Immortal on the way. I would imagine a battery on the natural. He's already got one actually, but he would add a second one if he felt like he needed it. Like, herO has the information now to make the right calls here, and the Immortal especially is going to be a big part of this, I feel like. So, we got this set up, see what happens as a Robo pops the Immortal out here. So, Immortal comes over to the sides. We do see all of our Marines still pressing down to the south. So, here comes herO. Looking to try and get in there and intercept a Phoenix. Doesn't quite manage to find that, though. Just gonna sit and Phoenix take a lot of damage. First one goes down in an instant, so first Phoenix already falling. Watchtower comes up and goes down. A few Marines stem around. A couple Phoenix flying through the natural up into the main base. more SCVs is getting chewed through as well, so the Phoenix lifts again getting some damage, and in the end, obviously, Q is not going to pull the trigger, going up a ramp into 2 mortals and a sentry and everything, so this game just progresses along. We're waiting for medevacs at the moment here from Q. herO's waiting for his Colossus. What Q is achieving, he's stopping herO from getting to a third base, right? So slowing down the progress on a third is a pretty big deal. Would be nice to get the probe just to force a new one to walk over. And in a more open space, yeah, in a more open space, maybe this is a fight you can take until the Colossus shows up. The Colossus really is a nuh-uh for these Marines. You got a sentry and a couple other units before that Colossus really kind of joined the battle, so it turns out to be pretty okay. This Bioforce Q now continuing to rally out the front and starting to join up into the center a little. Bio still coming through, Phoenix getting held back. We do have our Adepts, Immortals, the Colossus heading down to the south side. And a little bit of a push on the go. Our Marine firing up a Storm. Adepts come through there, gonna grab that Marine pretty quickly. Phoenix, Colossus, Extended Thermal Lance, +1 armor. All of this still being brought into play here. Marines come back towards the natural and just seeing our Vikings and our barracks still producing as well. So bringing all of that out here. As our Nexus about halfway done. Those few Phoenix, man, just going to go wandering out over the right-hand side, see where they can get to, see what they can get done. See if they can keep up the pressure. If nothing else, you're picking up information all the way throughout this, right? So Phoenix just able to provide that. I think Q should be somewhat happy delayed the third base of herO for so long. We'll see if that has a knock-on effect on this upcoming fight. We'll see what this potentially looks like. Phoenix fly through the first SCV, gets picked off pretty quickly. And Mule going down, our Bio continues across. Bioforce just still gathering here, decide what it wants to do. Begin to move forward just a little bit, and Orbital Command finishing up in the next few moments as well. We do have herO. A group of Phoenix just kind of moving forward in toward the center of the map, trying to decide where they are going to go and what exactly they are going to do. More Bio units all gathering up. A scan comes down. A little bit of Bio will stem straight on forward. A couple cannons will begin to fight. Sentries, Phoenix coming in. Marines and Marauders getting lifted. The Bio actually able to kind of fight for a long time. The Phoenix, well, taking hits off the Vikings, but the Super Battery can put in so much work here, and I think that's going to be the problem. Without the Super Battery, this might have been an okay fight, and Q might go again in the next few seconds just without the Super Battery being there. I wonder if he feels like he truly has enough to just go. Of course, a lot of it really depends on that Viking number. If the Vikings are in good enough numbers to shoot through batteries and like kill Colossi and really deal serious damage, then typically I think those fights work out well for you. Problem is, these medevacs are drained of energy and the Bio's already low HP, so without the healing, committing in a second time from Q is extremely expensive, and you're going to go in with low HP units, which obviously tilts the battle in favor of the Protoss player as well. So it probably makes sense that Q doesn't do what I say and try to go in a second time around. As Q works around the left side, and a few Phoenix just, flying out the left-hand side as well. A fourth base, fourth Nexus now starting up on the 6 o'clock. Getting that into position. Our Phoenix continue their little patrol dance over on the left as well. Our Bio army still coming through. Widowmines, Vikings, Ghosts, Medevacs, everything together. Getting set up to go. Those few shots coming out. Vikings getting some good damage off onto a lot of these Phoenix. Obviously, with a little bit of healing, this army gets to be better HP going into the fight. I think that's what Kira is really looking for across the board here. The few cells that try and engage in just turn around in an instant. Not really able to justify their continuation. That Widowmine was almost going to splash and kill all the Phoenix, which are low HP, by the way. All of them pretty much in the red. So the Phoenix days are almost over. We actually are building one or two more. Disruptors obviously producing as well from herO. more disruptors we have, the easier time we're going to have continue to push that bio army back and to keep it at bay throughout this. I think that's going to be a very important part of what we see over the next little while. This little group of Zealots, I say little, it's quite a sizable group, but gonna have a little engagement. Zealots just ran into that army, and the EMPs quickly turned those Zealots around. Even with +2 armor, they don't want to mess around there. As Kua initially drops the EMP on this Nexus too, stopping a recall. But Mind gets a few probes, and the Nexus will continue to take hits. This is where Kua is absolutely at his best in this matchup. When he's starting to force the army to split in different directions because his own army is splitting up beautifully too. And yeah, okay, he didn't get the Nexus kill, but it's low, it's an easy target for later. He pulled a lot to the right-hand side, giving him time to position on the bottom left. herO now understands already that this is going to be the next thing happening as our Vikings fire up. Our Colossus taking damage. Cannon already going down. Battery being killed. Disruptor shot firing through, and just seeing our Bio 4 is going to have to keep on backing away. Phoenix continuing into this. Fire just loads up into the main base. Going to drop straight on through. Probes going to start getting nuked on down. 6-7 already dropping. Now this base in the bottom right gets finished off. hero's on the counter-attack. Straight through we go. EMP onto the Zealots. The Phoenix got EMP'd as well, so no more lifts for them. And Q just wants to trade as well as he can over here with what he has. I mean, that was actually a good target fight. Got rid of all the Phoenix, and now as the Zealots try and bust through, they're just hitting the choke point. Q denying the main base and obviously getting rid of a lot of the pylons there too, so depowering a lot of the production structures. Obviously, Q's production structure is a little bit camped as well. Both those disruptors going down immediately. A whole chunk of probes continue to fall. I mean, we recall away. herO trying to get some units out. But, I mean, that means that this army can't recall back home to defend the third base either. And that is the last base. herO goes chasing down over here. The supply is massively in his favor. He kind of had the heads up on this. And honestly looks as though we're going to have herO just absolutely good to go. A couple of disruptor shots flying around a different couple of sides. Probe facility goes down, units loading up, dropping back down. Honestly, just in general, it doesn't really matter because eventually herO can bring his main army back and use that to deny this force of herO. herO who does have probes, so he could build up a Nexus, but he's down half the army supply, so there's just no way he ever really wins a fight or anything here. That's the big problem, I think. More than anything else, that's going to be what really is the killer for him in the tail end of this game. Go, man. He is such a beast in TVP at the moment. And yeah, he was going to rebuild the Nexus, and okay, we're not done yet, but herO still has a base on the 12 o'clock. He has production building top left corner. herO was never going to get over to that. herO about to lose his final structure in this main. So herO has to do a complete and utter rebuild. 2 Nexus building, one in this bottom right side is found by SCVs. They're going to drill their way through this base. Obviously just chasing down a couple of the probes. There is that Nexus top right as well, remember, so it's not like this is the only base of herO. So Orbital going to go down. herO is on his way back to the top side because he has bases to still defend and production that he's been building to defend as well. Just going to leave the SCVs to their business down over here for now. So Orbital will float off to a corner, hide away, maybe come in later. Going to build up a group of depots down here. 3,500 minerals in the bank for Kua. Jump straight on through. GG is called, and Kua is going to be able to grab game number 1. So Kua gets the first game of this best of 5 final. GG's. In the bottom right-hand side, the red Terran player. It is Kua, and he's up 1. Absolute beast of a player in the PTVP. I just cannot say it enough. His TVP has been so good lately. So fun to watch. Top left, our blue Protoss and Dragon Kaiser Gaming. herO. Well, already a very forward pylon from him. We'll see if that maybe lends itself to something in these next few moments. Maybe that will be The way in which we try and do something funky here. I mean, that's a forward gateway to start the game. And maybe herO just says, man, I really just can't fight the late game so much, so let's, you know, let's drop down the gate and go from there. Get aggressive, man. Just, I mean, do what he did to Bjorn in that game too. Just get the aggression going early, keep it going, and just never stop. We're gonna nibble a couple SCVs. Just getting nibbled up. Ripping the Zealot both on the way. And just as we have a couple moments of calm before the Zealot strikes, just want to say, hey, thanks for joining us today, guys. And of course, if you're enjoying this stream, hit the follow button. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the YouTube channel and subscribe on there. And of course, if you've got a Prime sub, consider subscribing with the Prime as well. Also helps a whole bunch. Really appreciate it as that STV goes chasing a pro around on the natural. Battery building up from herO. Stargate as well. SCV gonna find the forward gateway, so now a bit of info for Q. Reaper's already catching the Zealot, and we'll work through that. Zealot would obviously love to deny the CC. It's gonna delay it a few moments, but nothing too major. The probe is gonna come to try and help. Going after the Marine for a couple nibbles. That makes the Marine two-shottable by an Adept. Just going to come through and see the jump forward. A couple of Marines start to take damage. Yeah, we get rid of the Marine, but we lose an Adept, so was it really worth it? Not really. I'd say this was very well handled by Q again. Oracle, Wolfgate. Coming up for the moment. See that Oracle coming up to be about halfway done. Next is about halfway along. Cyclone producing. Obviously, let's see what Q's defense continues like. I mean, like I say, it's been a great start to begin with. Just gonna grab a little kill in the corner. 2 SCVs so far. Okay, well, this is good. Obviously, Cyclone not out just yet. Gonna grab 3, 4. Go for 5. Cool. Fantastic Oracle, man. Holy crap. All those SCVs being nibbled at has been huge. Just allowing you to two-shot the workers. What a difference that makes. And that's a lot of damage dealt. That's actually kind of crazy. The impact that has had. Alright, well, another Oracle shows up. Back to the 3 shots, and it's 2 more SCVs on the natural. herO is doing mega damage to start this second game. And, well, we said kind of some kind of way of getting out and aggressive and just starting up strong, and this is exactly that to begin with at the very least. Now Reaper just going to go hopping up, and as we have a moment, Soporific Gar, thank you so much for the 1-year resub. So many full year, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years resubs today, guys. Appreciate the 1 year. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Oracles, 3 of them around the right side. We'll look for more damage in the next few moments. Oracles dive in. First Oracle gonna die. I mean, there's obviously a commitment from herO. I don't think it's gonna work out. I love the lock-ons. Oh, beautiful. He puts the lock-ons onto the same Oracle, the healthier one, because that's the one that's most likely to get away. The Viking got the low HP one on the left, and that is how... that is how you find yourself a triple Oracle killing Q. It just absolutely shuts this down. Okay, he took a lot of SCV damage, but now the Oracles are completely gone. And Blink's a way off being done. Maybe there's even an opportunity to move across the map here as herO, no? As herO, sorry, against herO before Blink is done. I mean, there's a possibility at the very least. Maybe he just doesn't want to take it, obviously, especially after taking so much SCV damage. It's difficult to know if you really would have enough to go and do something. I think you would with all the oracles being dead, and you don't have the information then as herO as to when the attack's coming, so it's hard to, prep for that ahead of time as well. Quick little update on the third place match, guys. Creator takes a 1-0 lead over Beyond. We'll obviously keep you up to date with any other results that come through from that. So, yeah, that's a big one. Like I say, some prize money difference to be had between those two in that match. We'll keep you up to date when we have other match results coming through. Stalk's coming onto the map. So Blink is done. They will be able to start harassing. herO decided he did not want to do anything before his bio upgrades are done. So here we are. Going to play defense and let herO kind of decide when and where and how these fights are going to be taking place and how they're going to be feeling and looking. Stalker's going to blink up in toward the main maybe, but there's too many units there, so decides against it. The hallucination was going to be her high ground vision. So yeah, that just didn't really make sense, of course. Fire setting up, we do see a couple tag sieging and Cyclones readying to go at the front. Raven hanging out overhead. We do see our army pressing forward and just seeing our couple of Cyclones getting a lock on. We'll see what Q can do. Obviously, as his upgrades finish, we'll see basically what the knock-on effect of having lost those SCVs is, or whether killing the Oracles is obviously still good enough for him to get a good push going right now. Coming straight across the map, this gateway will begin to go down. Charge is about to finish, but we don't really have much else, right? We've got a Viking forcing the probes to pull away on the left-hand side, and well, I'm not fully convinced still that there's actually a defense for herO waiting for us in this game. One of mine will go off to a Stalker that blinks to the side. Whoa, the tank's actually in range of the Stalkers there. They do get a volley off in the end. Okay, but that one tank going down is still, something you wouldn't have liked to have truly lost here. Scan actually will have seen that was a fake Colossus, as we do have the Zealots coming in from the other side. Stalkers do not get in range of that other tank quickly. Anti-armor missile going down. Do we have the bio to just push up this ramp and go through? Batteries out of energy. Super batteries on cooldown. Zealots will run in. The Zealots are obviously a major part of this, and they are helping in a big way, keeping this Terran army back a little bit and allowing the Stalkers the chance to deal the damage. And it looks as though Q's force will be cleaned out. Both players taking losses. herO's army supply isn't great. It's the fact he's the defender and has Warpins coming straight into the fight that's making the difference here. A couple of Widowmines loading up, and they are going to go off and away. Maybe try and find a drop or so. They actually just flew over a couple of Stalkers, though, so... Well, they are actually not Stalkers. They were Zealots. I apologize. The medevac seen, but not attacked. Like I say, seen but not attacked. Now the Stalkers try and hunt it. They get a shot off. The Stalkers in the main too. This is nice because it keeps herO at home. Gives Kira maybe a bit of a chance to rebuild back up. I will say my problem with this at the moment is just going to simply be that, well... I mean, does it really need explaining, right? I mean, Kira's very late onto a third CC. That's probably going to be an issue. He does have it finished. He's going to move it in position. Maybe it's actually going to be okay. I didn't love it initially. Now this Widowmine drop is just going to die. Stalkers will blink to guarantee it, and obviously it's nice to get that cleaned up because now you can focus on other bigger problems instead of just camping out this one medevac with 2 mines. There's a lot of supply caught up basically and kind of, making sure this mine drop didn't get in. Robobane, a second facility coming down. That's one thing I guess is in favor of Kua. herO's tech is actually a long way out. We're only just now starting to look towards actually producing Colossi. The Colossus in that fight before was the hallucination. So that definitely feels like a pretty sizable issue as our Widowmine bio hanging out up the high ground. Our Stalkers will blink away. Zealots warp in on the far right-hand side. We do see our Bioforce still coming around down to the south. Put a mine. Take it out. Oh, he walked into another, though, so we actually do kill a Stalker there. Put a mine. Actually goes off on the singular Zealot on this side. This is just a battle of the mines right now, figuring out where they can land. Knobs overhead. Hallucination flying through. Zealot's still going across the right side here. Our Bio and our Ghosts in position immediately. Vikings, Marines, all coming up. 2-2. Cloning gets started as well on the side of Cure. Actually getting Colossus and a Disruptor at the moment. The Stalkers need to be careful. I mean, Bio Army's going to run into it, EMP, and I mean, finishes off the rocks, but he lost so many Stalkers. Ouch. Fire continues around the left side. Just going to have our couple of disruptors coming through. Our gate's still producing. Obviously, this game really calming down until all of this tech is online. We're pretty much maxed out as Cure. And again, this split army is setting up. One army to the left, one army to the right. This is the success story that Cure has ran repeatedly in this matchup as of late. Let's see what he can do as he's going to start striking. herO does have an attack through the center. As the first pylon drops, a few Stalkers on this side are very much so not enough. But the Zealots will be something to hold back Cure's attention. Actually, Cure pulls one of his armies home, because it's a pretty sizable amount of Zealots, so respecting it, and just realizing that he really needs to come through and clean this up. If he doesn't clean this up effectively, this can really go on, and then you never get cleaned up, you never get to tidy things out. And the Bio continues to push over the left side. Zealots and the Stalkers being chased away. Well, this army just strikes on the natural. Where is the main force of herO? It's actually in the middle of the map. Are we going to try and base trade again? Apparently we are. It's not an unheard of thing, right? When Cure is always on the other side of the map, ready to strike, then base trades are going to happen. herO actually leaves a portion of his army here base trading. The other portion of his army is already returning back home. Cure's going to make the right move, diving into the main base. It's going to give him the best chance to minimize, well, I guess maximize what he can do before his opponent gets here with the walk home. And actually the rest of Cure's army is about to show up on the third base. So Cure is actually going to be in multiple places now himself. Actually see the army of herO turning around to deal with this. I feel like Cure was not expecting this army to be here though. This was kind of a messy one. The Vikings land, I don't know if I love that. I feel like hitting the Colossi might have just been the better option. But yeah, you're buying time in the, for the units in the main, but they are going to be in trouble eventually too. Although herO lets the Colossi walk in on their own. EMPs on the Archon. Stalkers blink in. I don't think that's a good trade though. This army of Cure is going to ravage the forces of herO, and he's going to blink out with 2 Stalkers on the tail end of this. Zealots are now going to try and come charging in, but that's probably not going to end well either. We're depowering all of the gateways to herO. Even with money being mined, may not be able to build anything here. Rebuilding 2 robos at the moment. And can we actually escape? I think we're going to try a lift and get out of here. Obviously, Stalkers will blink, do what they can. We are going to actually have a Colossus and a Disruptor here. 2 Disruptors that will go down easily. The EMP helps with that. Cure is going to take down so much of herO, and herO is now having to recall Stalkers, but the rest of Cure's army shows up. Widowmine shot on the Zealots, and everything powers on in here for Cure. herO has nothing left over, really. And that was an insane couple of moments as Cure just outplayed herO. Even if this army of Cure gets cleaned up now, he has done more than enough. He's reset all of the tech units, the tech structures, the gateways have to be repowered. herO, you can see him floating money because he doesn't have warpins available at the moment. Yeah, absolute pain for herO. And like, just what a ridiculous moment or two. Cure, I mean, it was just mistake after mistake from herO, but it's Cure that's kind of forcing these mistakes as well, playing so actively and all over the place. Just the Colossi waltzing up, and then the EMP, then you force them out the main base, only to have your other tech units caught elsewhere. I mean, herO obviously kind of went for this kind of half semi-base trade by sending, you know, half of his army home, believing that would be enough to clean up and believing the rest of his force would do enough as well. Kira is now resetting and reestablishing his bases in different locations, but honestly, he's just got so much more army supply. He traded so well in these last few fights. You can see there was even army supply for a while. Just herO started losing so much more. This Prism is going to drop a couple Archons off, and Zealot's pretty tanky with no Ghost. This is maybe a little scary here. Turning around, Zealot's continuing through. The Prism going to get jumped on, so the warping gets cancelled. However, the medevac in range of the Archons, I was going to say maybe that was going to be a bit of a factor. It was not in the end. Observer will get scanned down. We can chase these Archons now. I was afraid the medevacs are going to get shot down by the Archons, but that didn't happen. GG from herO, and Kua will take game 2 of this best of 5. This final is going to keep on rumbling. And we are going to ready up for, as in the bottom left corner, our red Terran player is going to be Kua. Top right, our blue Protoss. Make some noise for herO. Down by 2. Needs to win this map to keep the series alive. Probe across the map. SCV's getting nibbled. Super early probe on this side, actually, trying to investigate and maybe do some damage. Obviously, just trying to delay the racks a little bit too. And also just make sure that Kira isn't up to anything sneaky. You would be so fast onto the fact that he's proxy raxing or so. It just wouldn't be worth committing through on it, as you know, from Kira's point of view there. So, you have the SCV coming through. Probe taking a little bit more damage, getting pushed away. And we do have that probe going to go back toward the SCV. Just going after that. Probe getting a couple more nibbles off. SCV is still taking damage, and we do have our gateway, our barracks, our engineering bay. All of this getting set up at the moment. A lot of production. A lot being established. SCV's just going to go, and Probe is going to get chased away. We do have our Cybercore, and obviously a first Zealot as well from herO. Well, that's going to be needed because there is an engineering bay block down on the other side. Full HP as well. So actually, the Zealot, I think, is not because of the engineering bay block. I don't think he's seen that, right? Then the Zealot's not for this. It's because herO wants to be aggressive with the Stargate. But the Zealot will have to go after the engineering bay unless it's just... I mean, you can ignore the engineering bay. That means you're not going to expand anytime soon. Maybe herO ends up taking a gold base or a third location. Possible. Right now he wants to focus on this offense, though, and that includes the first Zealot across the map. Now, the factory before an expansion is a brilliant start from Kua. That already tells you, hey, look, buddy, I'm not really interested in the idea of, you know, taking a low-ground expander or anything. He's going to expand in his base. He should be fairly safe against this aggression. There is herO setting up to take the gold, so again, good reason to just completely ignore the engineering bay block. As Kua actually spotted the probe sitting here, so I think Kua is aware of herO's plans. That's amazing to know, because then you can already start crafting your response to it. Marine, 2 SCVs going after the Zealot there. The 2 SCVs going to pull in to repair up this reactor. Reactor getting healed. SCV is going to have to swap on out as they get low HP. Extra Marines, obviously a Cyclone eventually will help as well. Depot. It's not necessarily the depot's late. In this case, the depot's late, but usually you would have your CC now, so the depot is off timing because of the fact, you know, we don't have the command center, so that's why we're going to end up in a bit of a weird spot. Cyclone is moments away to help deal with this Oracle. We lose all the Marines. I think it's fine if the Cyclone's going to end up being out here to defend. Of course, it's not like you're losing the low ground mining or anything, because that CC's never been on the low ground, so that's got to be a pretty important factor as well, all things considered. Another Oracle pops out of the Stargate, joins up, so 2 of them together, looking to make their plays. Whatever happens here, Kua does not want to let that gold base come up freely forever. I wonder if you can. When do you cancel the engineering bay on the natural? Like, do you cancel it at any point in time? Because you know, there's money to be gained from that, as we had one of the Cyclone lock-ons still available. And we do have decent damage being done. Do we have a lock-on coming back off cooldown? We do not. Seeing the next tech from herO starting the blink on the Twilight Council. Recalls probes to the gold. Well, one Oracle for a Cyclone. It's honestly a fine trade, I think, on kia's point of view. You know, these Oracles, you know, Cyclones are built to deal with the Oracles, so if you can kill off an Oracle, I think you don't mind losing one of the Cyclones. You still have a Cyclone left as well. You still have what you need to defend, basically, is the important part of that. Well, chance now. Chill out a little bit. herO's going to start setting up the other gold base as well. It's just that kind of game for him. He's going to try and keep this crazy and super busy. Nexus goes down in the bottom right corner. Like I say, again, another gold. I mean, the longer that engineering bay is still up and not being dealt with, I guess now he's got to start wondering, well, what the hell are you doing? He knows about one gold base, but the second, you know, does it tell you that there's potentially a second on the way? Potentially, right? I mean, you've got to start wondering at some point why he's not trying to take his natural. Pros players like to have 3 bases. And here is the other gold coming up in that bottom right corner. Oracle coming back over the left-hand side. Stalkers will begin to ping through the engineering bay here as well. Start us out. Obviously, the economy of herO is going to start absolutely booming with double gold base, but we're getting to a point where Q is about to have a power spike in the game. Stim is about to be done, right? And the moment Stim is done, you're going to start feeling a lot better for yourself. And that may be a chance to actually get onto this map and do something with what is likely to be a very powerful army against pretty much purely Blink Stalkers and not really anything else, so kind of down to see how this turns out. And you have a tank going to take a bit of a step forward, set up just a little bit. Oracles are now down and out, and without any Oracles, you don't have vision as to what's going on. That last revelation will tick away in a few seconds' time. Extra gates coming online. Charge is going to be the follow-up, of course, to just Blink Stalkers, Charge Loss, that kind of mass gateway army comp. Low tech, but very swarmy, and something that can generally do very well off of a gold base, and especially 2 gold bases. That boosted income allows you to produce off of more gateways than usual and swarm more heavily than you might usually swarm, I suppose. Natural expansion starts as we finally see herO taking another base, but that's now going to be 4 bases for him, so he's really not slowed down at all when it comes to expanding. He has been go, go, go across the course of this game. No intentions of slowing down at all in the slightest at the moment. That's one attack, combat shield, those upgrades continue through at the moment from Kia. Yeah, no, upgrades finishing up shortly with +1 combat shields. If there ever was a time to move out, this would kind of be it, no? But, you know, you've got all the power-ups you're going to really have. I mean, we're building a 3rd CC. You're going to have to push out to take the 3rd base at some point anyway. Maybe we're just going to do that extremely slowly, and Q's just happy to play a slower game. Maybe Q just says at this point it's just about kind of keeping on massing a bio. The more bio he can amass, the less likely it is his opponent's going to be able to just overwhelm him. So maybe no need for him to go on the offensive. Just sort of sit back, play safely, and when, you know, splash damage comes in, maybe it's a different story. But until then, maybe Kia really is just okay, kind of taking this slow, steady setup. CC moves forward, wants to take that 3rd. Like I say, it's been expansion city for herO. Worth noting, obviously, that, you know, gold bases mine out quickly, so there is a need to expand faster than usual because The gold on the left side is already going to start running out of patches. You're going to need somewhere new to send probes sooner rather than later. So that boosted economy is starting to wear on down. Still got a little while of it left, though. Prism into the main base is going to be the interesting point here. herO is very quick to bring some units up from the natural, though he was immediately selecting those and bringing them across. It's a big Zealot warp, and SCVs will probably be used to tank. Or they're just going to stand there and die to the Zealots without joining in. There is a fight at the front at the same time. 16 SCVs currently dropping. herO, his army supply really ain't that great. There's so many tanks over here, by the way. If these tanks help out in a big way, yeah, and they really do. I mean, it's 3 siege tanks and they do mega damage. 8 probes go down, a little drop at the same time. Yes, 21 SCVs fall. As the Prism goes down, the warping gets cancelled. That's actually going to deny a lot of the supply. I mean, Q just wants to go 90 to 20 army supply. It builds up quickly, though. 10 Zealots at a time. Can we go against Zealot warpings like that? That's going to be the big question. Can we get through? Can we push on forward? Yeah, those are the questions we are left asking as our Bioforce comes up the left, aiming for the initial gold-based location. I mean, right now, I think you absolutely can fight this. He's going to have to go deal with these Stalkers over here, but honestly, he doesn't need to slow down too much. He still has some tanks there. He still has bio units. Alright, Zealots are going to look to loop around as they might be able to surround this army from the top, from the left. The robo facilities here as well as we see this fight starting out. Super Battery in range. The Zealots on the backside actually catch reinforcements, but now they kind of move command into the bigger force. Robo goes down, so there goes the potential for some of the tech units. The reinforcements are going to clean up those Zealots now from the other side. I just don't see what herO's doing to close this 70 army supply gap. There's a massive warp, and if Stalkers in the main base, shutting down reinforcements seems to be one big part of this plan. Q is going to respect it. He's going to pull back and give this attack the respect it deserves, probably. And Stalkers blink down to the low ground to go after the siege tank here. But honestly, that's not too great because these Marines are actually shredding through the Stalkers, so damage being dealt to them anyway. Q has kept a good amount of units out onto the map. Wooden Mine's going to grab a kill or two as well. Those mines have been there for a while. Resources lost 5,000 in hero's favor. As those two Archons morphing in, not ready yet. Stalkers being chased in the middle of the map. Super Battery not available, should still be on cooldown. We target down one Archon, we will get the other, as we will not have any battery healing really be effective here. Q has too much, and Q's TVP once again is astoundingly good. In all sorts of weird game situations and everything else, herO just cannot find a way to break through this TVP. His TVP has just been so consistently great. It's been amazing to watch. And Q gets it done once again. 3-0 over here.